In this episode, Shane and Jocelyn ask Pat Flynn's thoughts on school and college for his kids.
So, with all that in mind, how are you deliberately, raising them to continue to be different, to continue on this legacy that you don't have to be stuck behind a desk from 9 to 5? What are you guys doing? How are you intentional about that?
I mean, like I said earlier, we're getting involved with what I do, and now that they're kind of conscious about the fact that we're different than other parents out there. I mean, my son has come back from school, and he's like, "Daddy, so-and-so's father is gone every day." And you don't have to talk to him about it, but then I share how awesome it is to be an entrepreneur and the fact that we have these flexible hours and opportunities in front of us. So, I do try to inject sort of entrepreneurial strategies, I guess you could say, or mindsets, if you will. That's probably the better word, into him. For example, every day when I drop him off at school, I ask him, "Hey, bud, how do you change the world?" And he goes, "By helping people." And so every day, that's what it's all about. So, and the funny thing was the other day, actually, another thing we talk about is complaining, because that's something a lot of kids do, and that was something that April and I were just getting so frustrated with, stop complaining, and I taught him that, complaining doesn't actually help solve the problem. Okay, you're complaining, you're frustrated, that's fine. But how are you going to solve this problem?
When my kids do that, if they were here right now, I could look at them and go, "Anna Joe, whiners and criers get nothing." That's exactly what I say to them every time. Because it is like that. When we were teachers, man, I actually stopped going out in the hall between classes because you would stand with the other teachers, the kids would be going to class, everybody would talk, but it was just total complaints and negativity, and I hate life and my job. And
you don't want to be around that.
You don't want to be around that.
No. And we have this thing called the complaint jar, where every time they complain, they have to take a quarter and put it in the complaint jar. And if we see them coming up with a tough situation and they try to solve the problem first, then we take one of the quarters back out and put it back into their wallet, which is really cool. And that alone has really helped out. And the other day, my daughter, who's 3, she was complaining about something. I forget what she was doing, but she was building something and just wasn't fitting the right way, and she was just about to cry. And then Keone, he goes, "Kai, are you trying to solve the problem? How are you trying to solve the problem? Stop complaining." It was really cool to see him now
so funny,
teach her.
I actually heard Isaac the other day say to Anna, "Don't tell me the problem, tell me the solution." Because I say that all the time, anytime something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And but I say, it's so funny because he said the exact same. Anna was like, "This won't work." And he was like, "Don't tell me about the problem, tell me about the solution." Yeah. And it's so funny that they do pick up those things.
Yeah, they do.
The day.
And he knows that I go out and speak in front of a lot of people all the time, and that's one thing that I want to get him comfortable with doing too. Presenting your ideas, being comfortable with that. And we're really lucky that he's in a school that actually promotes that. He's in a STEM school where they, for a long period of time will work on a single project, and then at the end have the parents come in and do a showcase, and they'll kind of share their ideas. And we were at a showcase at the end of the year here, and he had been working on this thing related to renewable energy and solar power and stuff, which is really cool because we run solar in our house too. So he was asking us a bunch of questions about it, and he created this little presentation board about it and stuff, which is really cool. But then we went there, all the kids were in the auditorium, they were all ready to present, they had all their poster boards up, and then the parents were gathered outside and we were ready to go in, and the teachers were like, "Okay, we're going to send you in there, but please do not go to your own kids' station first. Go to other kids' stations, ask them questions. We want to teach these kids about presenting their ideas to people they don't know and getting comfortable with that, because that's a real life skill that isn't often taught." And I was crying because I was like, yes.
Why didn't someone do this for me?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it took me until college to figure out the benefit of actually just putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, and that was through my architecture work, where we had to work on a large project for a long time and then get up in front of real architects and get feedback. And it was so hard for me to do that. I just want to throw up before doing that.
But getting our kids used to that, I think consciously about that too. Jocelyn loves dance. And, I'm kind of like, I got to go to this 8-hour dance recital to see my kid dance 2 minutes. You know what I mean? But it is so good because you put your kids in front of people. Isaac is really anxious about that, getting in front of people. But we have him in swimming, and he's like, the first day he was like, "I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this." And I'm like, "No, we're going to get you over this now. You're going to go out there, you're going to race in front of people, and it's going to become a part of your life, so it never becomes something you're scared of in your life."
And the big thing for me is even though I would love for my son to become an entrepreneur, I'm not telling him straight up that, you should be an entrepreneur, but I want to have him earn the skills and know the skills to understand that he has the ability to do whatever he wants. Maybe he'll be an employee, but he's going to be the best employee there is, who's going to solve problems, who's going to understand these principles that are going to be, relevant for whatever he chooses to do.
Yeah. What do you think about college for your kids? Like, I mean, besides the fact we want our kids to choose their own path.
Yeah.
But like, Jocelyn and I talk about this, and we'll tell you what we think after we hear what you think. but like we've got like differing opinions, I think, a little bit about this. But like, we've all been through college, we've been through that experience, we've been through the journey of the 9 to 5 to the online business.
Right.
So what do you think about that path?
I get asked about this a lot, and I'm very thankful with the path that I took, even though I'm not in architecture anymore. Obviously, that led to everything that happened here, or getting me to where I'm at today. But a lot of people are like, "Hey, Pat, are you going to put your kids through college?" And I always tell them, that's going to be their own decision, but we'll set them up so that if they want to, they can. There are different parts of it, right? The getting a degree part is actually not the important part, I feel. I think if you are going into certain fields, though, that's obviously very important. And if they have a passion for that, great, go do it. But I feel that the experience that comes along with the college life, time management, networking, like that sort of thing, finding the right people, that I feel is worth going to college.
Yeah, I totally agree.
This was an excerpt from the special 100th episode of the Flip Lifestyle Podcast with featured guest, online entrepreneur Pat Flynn. To listen to the full podcast, complete with the show notes, photos, and links mentioned in the show, click the link on the description below. You can click on these to listen to Shane, Jocelyn, and Pat Flynn also talk about managing the family, raising kids, inspiring ripple effect stories, and can't miss moments, all while doing online business. For updates on future episodes, make sure you click subscribe.